markets are relatively steady in Asia today following the steep move on Friday. The yen edged lower in initial trading, but the loss is limited. Meanwhile, the dollar is trying to recover mildly against other major currencies. The main focus today will be on the meeting between Eurozone ministers in Brussels on Greece. This is the third attempt this month to agree on a deal that would release the next tranche of bailout funds to Greece, and grant the country a 2-year extension on the fiscal adjustment program. After a marathon meeting last week, the finance ministers failed to reach any agreement due to some technical complications. Nonetheless, French Finance Minister Moscovici said over the weekend that they are very close to a solution for Greece, and it would be irresponsible not to reach an accord given all the efforts that have been made on all sides. On Saturday, Eurozone finance ministers held a conference call to prepare for today's summit. It's reported that they came up with a way to make up €10 billion to fill the financing gap due to the 2-year extension. That includes measures like lowering interest rates on the bailout fund, debt buyback, and applying central bank profits on Greek bonds. However, it's also reported that the idea to lower interest rates was a main showstopper to cutting the deal. Meanwhile, the IMF has been persistently insisting that Greece needs to meet the debt target of 120% of GDP by 2020, instead of 2022. The euro has been supported by optimism that a deal will eventually be reached and will remain volatile on Greek news in the early part of the week. Minutes of the October 30 Bank of Japan meeting showed that 2 policy board members proposed to have stronger wordings on the central bank's commitment to easing. Takehiro Sato suggested to say that the easing policy will continue until it judges that 1% inflation has been steadily maintained, and Takahide Kuchi supported the proposal. But most other members rejected it as it seemed unlikely that the continuation of the bank's monetary easing was being questioned in the markets. Meanwhile, there was also a joint statement between the bank and government, for the first time in history, on the pledge that they will work together to bring Japan out of deflation as soon as possible. A representative from the Cabinet Office said that this would be an important step towards overcoming deflation, which was a challenge Japan had confronted for over a decade. Latest CFTC data showed that euro net shorts rose again to 83,600 contracts on November 13, up from 67,100 a week ago. Sterling net longs dropped sharply to 8,200. Compared to 19,300 a week ago, and the 30,100 high back in October. Japanese yen net shorts dropped slightly to 30,400 compared to 40,100 a week ago. Australian dollar longs continued the steady rise.